Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Can you see and hear me? Evening all. DD, I may have foreseen all this. Andy, 937 AD. How you doing, son? Evening DD, 5B5. Let's have a look. How was your weekend, G-Man? Well, by saying how my weekend is, I'll be giving it away, wouldn't I? Right? Am I going grey, do you think? Or is it the lighting? Or is it my tanned youth? Right. We'll go through a few things. No, I am moving. So over the weekend, I went to see an event, right? It's arranged, and all these good people turn up and have a look at it. And it was a guy called, I think it's Jay Anderson. And it was good. I mean, I'm not, he's wrote a book, by the way. But what I want to do is write a real book on real law about the Constitution, putting everything in there and explaining some key points, right? Because I think there's certain things that need to be explained to people so everyone out there can turn around and say, bang, straight up, right? That you've got rights and you've got a constitution. Yeah, defo grey, old boy. Yeah, look, right, I have just washed my hair though, but it seems like it's gone even greyer. I always like this input river bodies. Let's have a look. So, cut a long story short, I'm on the fast, aren't I? So I'm a bit knackered. Not only that, I've booked in to have them free teeth out there and free teeth out there. Really weird. They just rang me and said, like, do you need to come in and see us? I went, yeah. So Tuesday next week they're taking a free out, and it's an oral surgeon at the dentist. I was like, really? And they're going to do that, and then the following week going to take the other free out on the other side. And then everyone's been saying, oh, we'll call you Gummy then. But it should get rid of the infections that I kept getting. Do you know when you have, anyone heard, like there's a great video about it, about if you've got any form of root canal fillings, the root is left in there and it will start to rot and die. And then it starts to cause all sorts of problems. So they give me some serious antibiotics as well, which reminds me, I think I've got to take another one, which I'll do now. And then in front of me, I've got my tea, which is ginger and lemon, right? And in this isn't what you think it is, which is Vimto, right? It's freshly squeezed lemon juice in water. That's 2 litres, so. I'll tell you what, cold water and freshly squeezed lemons. Did you know how good that is for your liver and your kidneys? So, because I'm still on the fast. Anyway, I will not keep you all in suspense. Hopefully, there's a few people tuning in. I apologise for it being late. This wouldn't allow me, believe it or not, to log in again. And I'm thinking there's something seriously wrong here. If the camera goes off, I don't know what I'm going to do about all that. But to let you all know, and this does not affect the show, it does not affect the running of the party or the seminars. It doesn't affect our interaction. It won't affect us going to different places. But I have made the plunge and committed. I am now moving to Devon, right? I'm not going to say where the place is, but it will be known because I have to run the place from there. But it is a tiny cob cottage, 1 bedroom, open plan living room with a kitchen, bathroom. There is a. This place is at least, I don't know how old it is, but it's at least 200 years old, right? And it's the weirdest thing walking up the stairs because especially as you're a chippy, but it's part of the character, so it's not as if you want to fix it. But every stair is wonky or slightly off or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So, but that's where I'm going. I have decided. So I am officially moving to Devon. Right. That means I will be much closer to Juicy and Lucy. I will be much closer to other people like Matt, Tony, Dean, Steve in Brixham, which I can't wait to regularly go down there because he's got a nice boat and I love being out at sea. So my long-term plan, just to make sure you're all aware, let's just see what I've just seen there. Suffer from major explosion. What's that? Hang on, I'm going to have to put... Don't everyone ask at the same... So every time I put a dot in, it's because I'm raising it up. My camera's in the way. Lemon should only be in a glass. The acid in lemons will degrade the plastic and you'll end up drinking plastic too. Doesn't care. I drink it so fast it won't have a chance to degrade the plastic. Congratulations on your decision. Well, one of the things, so there are other things that I will talk to you about, is that we have to create this movement of and especially Devon. Devon is so crucially important to the English Constitution. Brixham, Exeter, Sidmouth, all of them areas. And a lot of the people don't even know the history. And the only way you can get out and speak to these people is say, listen, this is what it's all about. And you need to understand your history, right? It was quite funny because I was in a pub and there were some locals there. They were really lovely people, right? 3 doors away from my cottage, on a fast. So I'm just drinking coffee and water. The barman I said to the barman, I'm moving. He said, "Oh, when are you moving in?" I said, "Well, the place is 3 doors up." I said, "I'm moving in as soon as I can, really. I've just got to organise it all." And he went, "Oh, right." And he said, "Well, if you go up there and turn left," right? I said, "How far?" He said, "Come out." Really helpful, right? Come out. Pointed up the road. He said, "See that little archway on the left of them houses?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "Go through there." He said, "You'll think you're not allowed to go up there. You are. It's a public right of way." He said, "And then climb to the top of the stairs." Right? Not big stairs, but stairs. I was like, by the time I got to the top of them, when I got to the top of them, there was a complete view of Dartmoor. And there was all sheep walking around me, right? Rabbits trying to get. There was one rabbit sort of looked at me and thought, "Oh, who's this ginger?" Right? And it was quite funny. So just to let you know, it's just a bit of me. And because all I ever do is sit in this flat, if I go for a walk, listen, going for a walk where I live ain't some. Listen, it's a concrete jungle, but I have to take my watch off, right? And I just don't want to live like this anymore, right? And I at least want to be able to get out and have a walk and go in a local pub. There's no local pubs here, right? Most of the decent pubs have been shut down, and the pubs that are here ain't what the pubs like used to be in London. So I've just had enough. Anyway, so I went to this event with Jay Anderson, watching him, and all these people, and a couple of people come up and went, "Graham, what are you doing here?" I went, "I've come to watch this event," right? And they was like, "Oh, lovely," right? And they all sort of live local. So it is, and by the way, there's a few, not majorly, but there's a few Londoners as well. And one of the things I'm getting at is when I was in the pub, which you'll think's quite funny, I said to one of the blokes, like, I've moved in. This is another guy at the end of the bar, and he went to me, "Oh, you moved in, have you?" I sat, listen, I can't do a Devon accent yet, but I will be. Give me a month down there, and I'll be talking like a Devonshire person, right? And he said, "Well, you could join our bowls club then." Come up. He said, "Here's the lottery," right? So he signed me up for the lottery, and then he said, "Join the bowls club, and all the different pubs compete against each other." I said, "Yeah, go on, I'll have something." I said, "I've never played." Oh, remind me, I've got to speak to my dad because he used to play bowls. So I might speak to my dad and say to him, "Yeah, can I have your old bowl set?" He'll say, "What's that?" I said, "I've just joined a bowls club." So, yeah, you got bowls and doing different things. But getting back to this guy, and I said, like, people around here and the people of Devon are quite friendly towards outsiders. He went, "Yeah." He said, "We're all English." He said, "But we're Devon, right? And it's very English, by the way, this place I've going. And just to make sure he went to me. I said, "But I went to Cornwall." He said, "I said the Cornwall people don't like you moving there. They hate you." And he went, "Listen, there's only one good thing about Cornwall." I said, "What's that?" He said, "You have to drive through Devon to get to it." I was laughing, right? And all the people in the pub started laughing, right? And they said, "Yeah, we're not like that. Like, you know what I mean? If you come into the community and all that, you're just one of us. As simple as that, right?" I won't say what other things were said, but they said there's certain types of people we're trying to keep out. I wouldn't that do me. So it is fantastic, and the lady who has rented me the place is one of our truth movement, right? And without going into, I won't go into any detail because it wouldn't be fair, but she just said, like, it's there. I would prefer it if a truther went in there, right? In other words, people who think like this. I'm not interested in all this, and I certainly won't stick a foreigner in it. But she said, "I'd be even more pleased if you went in it." I said, "All right, I'll crack it." So I stayed there for 2 nights. It's just strange, when you get up and you go out and you think, "Where can I go?" And then the pub's there, and I'm thinking, "No, you can't go to the pub." You can't go to the pub every day, right? And then you're walking about and looking at things. But it was really lovely. What's that one? DD, hoping a fugitive on holiday in Devon would like to meet up. Yeah, Taffy Pack, obviously. I've even a lady, another one of our truthers who lives in Wales, because I said I'm moving to Devon. She's got 2 little kids. And I said, "Listen, you're welcome to come down. You're welcome to even stay." I said, "There's a sofa bed in there. But obviously you and the 2 kids will have to be snuggled up on a sofa bed." It is tiny. It's what's known as a cob. I didn't even know that existed. It's a cob cottage. When I say it is tiny, right? Most of the stuff in this flat now, and I've got. So if there's anyone out there that wants a very expensive leather, very good condition, no rips, no tears, right? It's been oiled in the past, etc. A leather 3-seater settee and a 2-seater settee and a leather footstool, right? I never paid for it, by the way. My mate had it, and he was getting rid of it. And then because I didn't have anywhere to live and I was moving into a place, he went, "Do you want this? You can have it," right? And I went, "Yeah, all right." And it is the absolute, and it's really comfortable to sleep on as well, funny enough. But all of that won't fit in this new place. So this place is furnished to a degree. There's still some things it needs. It needs a washer dryer. And I need to work out how I do the studio. I've got to get all these books and these bookshelves all taken down and all my books in there. And I've got to work out how to do it. I've got to sort out my Starlink there. But again, I'm not going to bore you with the details. That's just my move. But up and away, I am getting the fuck out of London, right? You can if you buy the pub. I ain't got the money to buy the pub. If I tell you what, I would love to buy a pub. especially in Devon, and we call it, or have a big English flag outside saying, like, constitutional pub. We keep the original name, but say it's a constitutional pub. Cob is mud mixed with cow shit, Graham. Yeah, well, that's what that place is. It is. It is. It don't smell. It's a typical old cottage. Cob is mud mixed with cow shit, Graham. Yeah, that's fine. It's a cob cottage. It's just had a new roof. So there you go. But it is tiny. Dave Coe, you need a 4-tonner to shift all your books. I've got to be honest with you. The book side of it, I mean, I don't. There's been a number of people who've offered help. There's one person who said he's got a van, he don't mind coming up and taking all my gear. But what I've got to do is try and find a way of getting the big stuff out, including my bed. And by the way, this bed the bed I've got is too big to go in there. So literally everything in this flat, the only thing I'll be taking is my studio stuff and my books and my clothes. That's it. Nothing else. So everything else, if I can't get rid of it in some way, I'll probably have to. I don't know. I wonder if you can ring a charity up and say, "Do you want to do a semi clearance?" And they'll come around and take it all. But there you go. Neil 56. Let's have a look and see who one's out there. Leave London to England sounds sad, doesn't it? Yeah, but it's the truth, though. And there's only so much you can do. So getting back onto the main subject of the show, I have heard back from the Royal Mail, and I can't say too much, but I can 100% tell you that they are trying to pull every stroke in a book to try and get this case thrown out against them, right, and potentially other people. I've wrote a submission. I haven't seen their full submissions yet, but some of the things that they've sent in this letter, they're just, don't forget, I put them under pressure to say, here's a court hearing. This is the directions hearing for the court case, right? So now all of a sudden it's coming on us. Now I've had another couple of emails from people today, but I'm sitting there giggling at them. What I didn't know, I've done further research. So part of my submissions, so obviously they're trying. It's called a strikeout, and part of their submissions. I've not responded yet, but I will respond tomorrow. And the submissions are simple. Just to let you all know, I didn't realise until yesterday, I think it was. I should bring it up on my thing and tell you what it is. But I didn't realise how heavily they are. Let me see if I can go back to it and tell you how heavily regulated the Royal Mail is, and Ofcom got involved with something a couple of years ago with them for non-delivery. And don't forget, we got evidence, we got witness statements of non-delivery, just to let you all know, right? And Ofcom fined them £100 million, right? So that's just for normal non-delivery. What do you think? And there's certain things that they have to do by law, right, involved with elections. And part of that is that by accepting our leaflets for delivery, because there's a process you have to follow, well, it's all part of the Representation of the People's Act and 1983 and Section 91, I think it is, Postal Service Act. So this is what they've gone against, basically. The petition raises serious allegations of non-delivery of leaflets, breached Representation of the People's Act 1983, Section 91, Postal Services Act 2011, and duties under the Human Rights Act 1998, violating Article 10, freedom of expression, and Article 3, protocol of the European Convention of Human Rights, free elections, right? They are doing everything possible to try and get this thrown out, right? But even if, and I'm not suggesting they will succeed, I don't know, listen, you know as well as I do that, I mean, these courts do listen to the cases and they will listen to the evidence, right? But there's certain other elements of it. But there's other bits which I won't go into that I've put in this case, this submission, that slaps them right around the face. And a judge will listen and go, I like that, because I've used something to assist the judge in telling them to foster Oscar, right? And they're quite serious cases. So everything out there, as we all know, when they try and do things like that, it's because it's not. They could just go up there and say no. They have options. And their option is to completely surrender and say, we realise that our people have not delivered these leaflets, but we would say it wasn't done intentionally, but they've already lied, right? And once so now they've put themselves in a position where they can't really settle, because if they settle, there's automatically an Ofcom. And there's automatically, technically, a police investigation because it's a criminal offence not to deliver them out, right? So there's so many things, and that's why they're like, and they don't want this Emma Gilthorpe name associated. Bearing in mind, she's the one whose stepfather, who's now deceased, was a 40-year Tory peer. These people are put in positions, and all of a sudden, she's just come from, I think, Heathrow Limited or whatever. But they're putting their own people in these positions, and then all of a sudden, one of their own people is named in a lawsuit to do with election interference and election fraud and criminality reference an election. So they definitely don't like it. Will it serve as a warning? I hope so. There is something else I want to tell you about, another witness statement, but I don't think I want to do that until after Friday. But a very prominent person, has made, I can't read out the statement, has made a witness statement. I'm just waiting for it to be signed and sent to me. And it adds to the antecedents of an organised manipulation of elections in a big way. I can't say any more, but I will say this, and you'll probably understand what I'm talking about. I think he had a conversation with Andy the Gabby Cabby, or Andy the Gabby Cabby featured him talking about it. And I never knew what he said. Don't forget, I don't know everything. I know some people think I do, but I don't. And then I looked and thought, all right. So, I mean, I've had a number of conversations with him in the past. I've got his mobile number and details of him. And I said, listen, would you be prepared to do this? And he went, yeah. And then he's done it. He said it to me today. So there are a lot of things in our favour. Whether or not the British legal system would want all of this to be out there, I don't know. Good evening, Graham. You are looking really well. Really well. How is your fasting going? You look like you've already lost weight. Thank you very much. I think I have lost weight. I've dropped under. So I'm aiming. I did say I was aiming for 2 weeks. I'm going to aim for 28 days, right? But I am drinking lots of water. I'm also taking that, right? so every day, which is the essential 90s. But your body kicks in and starts burning fat, right? But most of my weight was, and I'm waiting for some stuff to come from America to clean out my kidneys, natural stuff, right? That's the other thing about jumping some subjects here. I do apologise, but that's the other thing about Devon, right? There's proper, real, full Comanche farm. Oh, the geezer who owns the pub is a pig farmer. I was like, yes, right? So, and he went, what? I said, can we have a bacon sandwich every morning then? Laughing. They went, yeah. I said, is it all like, no injections and all that? He said, no, he's into natural food, so you wouldn't get any of that. A whole, I don't know if it's called a pallet, 24 proper full Comanche free range eggs, right? 24 of them are £4.50. I love eggs, by the way. But and then you've got fresh produce and food grown organically in a number of them places. I've got just up the road from me real milk, meaning not messed about with at all, straight from the cow, and many other things. So I am looking forward to it, and then trying to increase my health that way, and then obviously going for a walk every day. But a real walk, like you can go and find something. Them walks never get boring, don't they? I mean, I was walking up this, and there's like all these trees curling over it, right? When I was walking through this thing, and it got to this little gap, and I looked out onto this big field, and literally there was a baby bunny rabbit which was looking at me, and I was like, right, you don't say that in London. But it is lovely. Anyway, Friday will be epic. Dandy Dragons, a full English show website. John at large, almost certain the Hamilton election was hooky. I need people to see. There's a video going about, and I don't like this particular YouTube channel because a lot of it is AI and fake, right? So it's not the first time they've been absolutely dodgy elections in Scotland, but all of our elections are crooked, right? But anywhere it's a Labour Party running it, it's severely crooked. Floating, they're going to try and do it. Raw milk, that's it. Juicy and loosey. But I don't know how much the meat is. There's not even enough room in there at the moment to have a freezer. I might have to get a small fridge with a freezer on top just to store meat or whatever. But to be fair, if everything is reasonably local, and I hope it will be, I mean, I don't know the area quite well yet, but once you start flying around and sussing out where you are and what you are, I should be getting there. Sean Tyler, I moved from Tower Hamlets 6 years ago. I feel completely different, DD. I moved from Tower Hamlets, completely different, DD. This move will be great for you. Listen, I felt good just going back to Devon and seeing all them people again, all right? Even if you disagree with some of them, right? Absolutely lovely people. And they're all genuine, and they all know what the coup is, you know what I mean? And the particular people I'm talking about, convid, like stay away from the jab and all that. It should be good. But, so just to make sure I'm emphasising this, I don't know how far away I am. I think I'm about 20 mile away from Exeter Airport. So my access to Manchester, I'm not suggesting I'll be flying to London, but even my access there, I mean, I don't know what Exeter Airport's like, but we've still got to build this up, and you need somebody to grab hold of an area and say, right, we're going to move with this area. London's lost, right? It's just dead and buried, right? The only thing you can do with London is block it off and starve them out, in my opinion. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Exeter is around an hour. Is it? All right. So Exeter Airport's about an hour away. So Gatwick for me, the difference between me at the moment, and I'm not bitching about this, right? I can get on that bus, go to Crossrail, and go to either Gatwick or Heathrow, right, and be there within 40 minutes without even using my car. But I ain't worried about that. And I do need a motorbike down there. So the offer of the motorcycle, I'm going to try and sort that out. I've now got a lot to try and sort out, but you know what I mean. Let's have a look. John 07, who's info at the 2020 stolen elections. He has the whistleblowers and says that USA was not the only country the elections were stolen and manipulated worldwide. Sharon, I absolutely agree with you. And that's the biggest point of all this. The elections are crooked. There are still people out there putting it out, don't vote. Absolute wrong thing to do. You're destroying the future of your children unless you're intent on upping sticks and going to another country. But in which case, if you've done that here, any country you try to move to, knowing that you've done that and not stayed back and tried to save your own nation, it's bad. And really and truthfully, you've got to get out there and vote. He's got a place in Devon. Who's got a place in Devon? Hate to burst your bubble, but Cumbria is better. John at large. I don't disagree that Cumbria is a really lovely place. The difference to Devon and where I'm located, I've got access to Brixham, and I've got and there's other positions that I'm thinking about because it's such a fantastic shire in relation to the English Constitution, and I think the people of Devon and people who live there need to know how historically important Devon is, right? And then if you go, so either side, so I don't know, north and north, was it north or would say west? I would say probably east Devon and West Devon, maybe. I don't know. I haven't got my bearings with it yet. But there's the sea either side, right? So that's what I'm saying to you. And don't forget, my long-term aim is to buy a boat. And there's also moorings there, free anchorage, not moorings, anchorage. So there's a lot of things I'll be trying to look at. But I've just got to make sure that my life goes forward. And my life, I don't want it to be in London. I've had enough. At D-Day, they are now having recounts in Canada. I did see that. Someone said they're having recounts in Canada. It looks like more and more people are discovering that it is completely crooked. And the thing is, the Royal Mail has assisted with that. The Cheshire Police have assisted with that because they haven't investigated it. And we've got all the evidence of that. So that's what's going to be presented to the court. Not this. This is the directions hearing. So we're going to say, well, you need to give us all your evidence. And don't forget, so if the judge goes forward with this, which he should, right? They're panicking. If I read out this full submission, you'd understand. Let me say where it says here: material irregularities justify inclusion under the Representative of the People's Act 1983, Section 121 or Draft 120 to 121. Election irregularities materially affecting the results support the petition non-delivery backed by witness evidence from and Ofcom fines, e.g. £100 million they was fined in 2024 for systemic failure, raises a triable issue against the Royal Mail, right? So again, what we're going to say is there's an election petition here, but there are other things that they don't like what we're doing. Let me see if I can say this. If negligence or policy failures cause non-delivery, potential breaches of the Human Rights Act 1998 or criminal offences, e.g. Postal Services Act 2000, Section 84, willful delay of mail, need discovery of records and logs, which they say they've done an investigation. Sure, it shouldn't be a problem, but they've supplied none of that to us. And what we want is for them to supply the whole lot, so the whole court case, and we'll be using it under the European Court of Human Rights, in effect, showing that a state agent has interfered with an election, and there are other material things which relate to us because we're about self-determination. All I'm saying is, listen, if they think, but they are panicking, without any doubt. I don't know what the judge is going to do. There's other things in this that I don't want to say online because I don't want to give them a heads up to it. Reasons to oppose. So there's so much in this. And I'll go into the Judicial College's Equal Treatment Book, July 2024, Litigants in Person section, urges judges to ensure procedural technicalities do not undermine justice. That's what they're trying, right? I think it's bullshit. As a litigant in person, the petitioner may face challenges with form of procedure, but the substance, electoral harm, financial loss, and rights violations, this is crucial, demands a fair hearing. Dismissing the petition risks excessive formalism, contrary to the European Convention on Human Rights principles, guarantee effective access to a court, right? And all of this is in this application, and they won't. And I can tell you now, they're not going to like it very much. And again, you've got the ICCPR Article 1, where it says that states should respect people's rights to choose their own governance and not cheat. So all of that information is going in. So it is heating up slightly, that they are trying literally every trick in the book to get out of it. But when you think, when this proceeds to a trial and then the evidence is laid out and the evidence is stated in an open court, that's it. They can't get out of it. And then you've got the Department of Public Prosecutions, just to let you know. So one of the other groups today, this is why I'm saying they're looking at technicalities, right? But people must know the law to try and make sure they can't do that, right? So what they said to me today, another group said to me, did you notify the Department of Public Prosecutions? I said, yeah, I served them. And they said, when did you serve them? I said, the same time as I served you, right? And they said, have you got any evidence of that? And I said, yeah, right. That's why it's important to keep these, right? So these come along to the court with me, right, on Friday. And I say they was all served as stated in the certificate of service, right? So all of that information is there. And they was like, okay, yeah, no problem, thank you. They're looking for ways to, little tiny things where they can get it kicked out, right? To be fair, it's an unusual type of an issue, in honesty. It's an election petition. It's an election fraud, as far as I'm concerned. And that's it. So just to let you know, it's gearing up. I've got to try and make sure I've got nothing to do on Thursday because I need to chill out, get my head together, get everything, all my paperwork sorted out, all my paperwork printed, etc., and then take it up there. But they are going to do some bundles and send some bundles out. This is the other people. They said we'll do the bundles for you. Again, there is evidence of three. So there's three separate people. Sarah Pouchin hasn't replied at all, just to let you know, right? There has been no word from her whatsoever. But just so you know what's going on. But there is serious fraud going on. And if you don't stand up and tell them, but I will say this to you, people must vote. What you're doing is handing the country to them on a plate, communists, and that's it. They run the country. So if you don't vote, and if you even think that not voting is the answer, you are being communists, right? And if you think they ain't going to take your property off you and your farms off you, think again. Yes, I suffer from the age. I don't know what that is. Let's have a look. I need to go and show something else. What's coming up? He's doing a shout out for the English Constitution. He was worried about Sharia law. Okay, thank you. Don't forget, keep sending people emails. Let me just make sure I'm completely clear about this, right? We are a team. It's not about me. It's about us, right? And I just want to make sure you all understand that. Don't think. I mean, sometimes I can get. I'm on a fast at the moment. I haven't got an immense amount of energy. I haven't started dreaming about eating Marmite like I did last time. Yeah, I had to go and buy some Marmite and put it in the cupboard, and I'll get a big spoonful of Marmite and go like that. But I haven't even really thought about food, to be honest with you. So again, I think tomorrow's the 7th day, and then Wednesday will be the 8th day, and then I'm hoping to keep that going. Right. So don't forget, this week we will be up at the High Court for the election petition. Anyone coming up there, don't forget, trying to talk to me when my mind's on this case and what's going on, etc. Don't think I'm being rude to you or anything like that. I'm not, right? But people often start trying to, and then start having conversations about things when it's a bit like a boxer getting in a ring, and then someone turns around to him and says, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this, and this is what we're going." And the boxer's like, "Listen, I'm just trying to fucking get in a ring here." Do you know what I mean? I'm not suggesting it's as bad as boxing, but it's a similar. You understand what I mean? You're sort of focused on what's going on, and there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 3 sets of barristers or solicitors up there, and then just me walking in there saying, "Okay, well, so what do you want to do?" We'll have to wait and see. Have I got 8,000 subscribers? Wow! I never even noticed. Well done, you fantastic people. We've clicked over the 8,000 subs mark. And I don't know if anyone watched or saw Chris Poloski, who owns Rumble, and he actually said, "Listen, people, Rumble does not use AI to suppress you or your speech or freedom of speech or anything like that. All the other platforms do, right?" And he said, "I'm telling you now, Rumble is the place of the future for free speech, and no one's going to take it down." And that's why I believe we're being attacked in the ether, because the mainstream media, to do with this election petition, have been completely quiet. It's almost like there's complete blackout. And what happens with a blackout is they can get away with pushing it under the carpet and no one knows it happened, right? The only people getting it out there is you, right? So I just want everyone to understand that. So I'm going to say this in case anyone wants to take a clip, right? The election petition for Runcorn and Helsby is extremely important. We are being defrauded from our private right of free elections. There is a massive fraud, systemic, in this country. The people of Runcorn and Helsby, there's a number of things that I want them to know. One is that you need to contact me or contact us, and we need to put the details of the email. One, if you didn't receive the leaflet, right? There's a specific leaflet that was delivered or should have been delivered by the Royal Mail and wasn't. That is a criminal offence. It's an abuse against human rights because you have freedom of elections, and it's an abuse against your constitutional and common law rights to be informed about the candidates, right? So we need you to email and then hopefully make a statement. You ain't got to come to court, right? Make a witness statement to say you never received it. And the more that we can build up a picture all over Runcorn or Helsby that there was no delivery of them leaflets, it's my personal opinion that they've dumped them in the skip. Well, we paid for them. Our members, our disabled members, our pensioners paid for them. Our pensioners, our disabled members, paid for the deposit. I want you all to understand that. And you need to start standing up against this fraud. Don't just sit there and think, well, I'm fine, Jack, because you won't be for much longer, right? The second thing is, if you voted for us, right, and you don't mind doing it, it's really important, right? Tell us you did that. And give us your name and address and a statement to say you voted for us. I'll tell you for why. Because when it gets to looking through the electoral records of the polling stations, on the back of your ballot is your election number. And when we look through our 50 votes, if hundreds of people have emailed us, right, and said, I voted for you, and then they look at the 50, and then they look and say, well, none of these people are in this 50, which means they must be in those piles, right? It's as simple as that. To unravel the fraud is simple, but people have to step forward, right? There's only so much I can do, right? So just to make sure, Runcorn and Helsby, you need to email us, one, that you didn't receive the leaflets from the English Constitution Party, right? And there were specific leaflets on the back of the leaflet that told you about the Criminal Justice Act 1988, Section 134, torture. And it listed who can be charged with this offence, including judges, including members of Parliament, lords, including police officers, including social services, all of them, right? So make sure, and they didn't want that information going out to you, right? Let me just see if I can see this. Okay, well done. And there's other people out there currently sending the letter. Do you remember the letter I did to Marco in the US, the Department of State? They're in receipt of that letter, right? But there's other people downloading it, printing it, and sending it. It costs you a few quid to send it, not a lot, about 15 quid, right? It's a lot if you ain't got it. And sending that out. So has anyone got info on the skip firm? Someone must know. Well, the other thing is they've got CCTV, and they've got CTV within the area of distribution. And then don't forget, if you've got the walks themselves, so the postmen and postwomen are going to be questioned. We've already been told by the Royal Mail that they did an investigation, right? We're saying, give us the evidence in the investigation. Let's see the statements from postmen and postwomen. It's as simple as that. And it's such a serious offence for them not to have done these things. They're blatantly mocking the law, right? And the only people, again, standing up for it is us. Let me just have a quick look on here. So don't forget, sharing is caring, right? It's really crucially important that you understand this. We've now gone over the 8,000 subscribers mark on this channel. We've got 500 on the other channel. So technically, we've got about 8,600 subscribers. That's not bad. Bear in mind, this is not YouTube, right? And you're not being oppressed or suppressed on here, but it's you that gets this message out and starts bringing up the subscribers. But again, hit the like button, crucially important, right? Share this video, right? And by the way, if you use the repost button and share it from the actual screen, I see your email and I look and go, they're resharing, right? Or copy the L and send it out to Telegram and all different places. So share, subscribe, right, is really important, and like. So hit the subscribe button, right, and the numbers keep rising. It's as simple as that. But I mean, we will eventually get someone, hopefully, who's going to help us in the US and who's an editor and does all that stuff. And we'll bring another channel online from the US, and you'll see the difference because the US is not being manipulated like our by the British that ours is. Let me have a quick look. So I'm going to ask some farmers markets would be nice. Lavrov threatens British state. He might do the job for us, London. Did he actually threaten the British state? Because I've said from the off that the British are key responsible for all this. There is a deep state that is responsible for this. Would the Royal Mail unions tell its members not to deliver the leaflets? Jules Ann, yes, is the answer. Give Graham a follow on X. So Tracy's put my email address out there. Middlesex man, moving everyone. Sorry for the lateness. Just back from Magna Carta lecture at Royal Holloway University was given by former Tory Attorney General Victoria Prentice. Was it any good? Greenbacks, have you heard about Mediva? Not about that. Johnny Graham, there's a lot of YouTube channels and Rumble sites talking about the British government involvement in the US. Yeah, but we was the first. We're always the first to talk about it, and that's why they don't like it. And then we start. It's a springboard. You're now on TikTok too, doing really well. Oh, well done, Daddy Dragons, the full English show website. The swamp dwellers are the deep state. They are indeed. Bob D, great news, DD. Earlier, Lavrov said that Russia knows the British involvement and threatened retaliation. I'm not surprised. You can't allow that. Is something. So the only thing I can say about the British is they realise it's coming from, and either people clean up or Russia would do it for you. It's not a Mickey Mouse nation in any way or form, right? And again, if you know the history of Putin, and when he took power, everyone asked, "Guys, a dictator is this or whatever." It was a lawless, corrupt nation, and he turned it around. I mean, there was actually a video with him sitting there around a table with a load of oligarchs, Russian oligarchs, deep state, criminals, organised crime. And he basically said, when you cross the line and harm the motherland, that's when we're intervening. And two of them said, basically, fuck you. He said, okay. He didn't say any more. 7 days later, they were dead. Graham, hope you've heard of the 50501 plan. DD, did you see that YouTube video shout out on the Constitution? No. I'm sure I'll see something though. We should hand Starmer a hammer over to Mr. Putin. He will teach this traitor how never to poke the bear. Taffy Pat, you're not wrong. Let me see if I can go and find something for you because it's really important. Just put that in there for the minute. Let me hit this one. People keep saying to me, why'd you put them dots in? Because when I'm on this system, in front of me, I've got a big screen, massive screen, which, by the way, I can't have in a flat. I can't have in a cottage. It's too big. So I've got to work out a way of doing it. I will do. It might take a bit of time for me to work out how to do it all. I had a chat with a young coach driver today who's about 23. He knew all about you, DD, and the Constitution, but didn't know about Rumble or this show or put him right. Oh, well done, Richard of Sudbury. There's quite a few people, younger people, that have been listening to me. Even my brother said to me, like the people on the roads, they listen to me. 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 They was talking about me, and one of them come up to him and said, "Oh, you seen this video? This geezer's whatever." And he went, and my brother went, "That's my brother." They went, "Fuck off." He said, "That's my brother." And I was going, "Oh, I can't believe that." And then I think they was in the motor on the roads, like putting out all the cones and doing all the motorway stuff. And a young fella got in the van. He said, "Ring him up then." And he went, "Right." He went, "All right, great." And he went, "I'm sitting here with a geezer who watches your show." And I said, "All right, mate, how are you?" And he went, "I can't believe that. It's fucking Danny Dragon and it's his brother." Like, we was just laughing. So there are. And again, I mean, going out to Portugal, people, I've been doing this a long time. But I do need some serenity. I need a sheep to go, "Bah." And instead of me going, "Yeah, you lefty, twat, or liberal, whatever," I'll go, "Meh, I'll be eating you later." Let me have a look. Aborigine Seal. Right. Chris of LSB Productions said he would love to see you debate the guest he had on the weekend. Yeah. The thing is, the guest that he had on the weekend, he's very focused on property law and the council and planning permission, etc. I mean, there's a couple of things that he said I completely disagree with. But, I mean, you got to remember, you need to talk to people and persuade them. But some people, especially if they've done things like wrote websites or books and said things that are wrong, they can't. It's very difficult for them to go back and correct it, even if you show them the evidence, right? Because they're like, right, how am I going to get out of that one? And that's what you've got to be careful of. But when I'm down in Devon, I promise you, I'm going to write that book. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to go for a walk in the morning, do 2 hours writing, walk in the afternoon, do 2 hours writing, go down the pub, and then in a short period of time, you should see it all come together. And then I'll write the book and show people. Then I'll need someone to graphic design the book, how you want it to be, and I will use all the references, and everyone will be able to find it, and I'll put everything in there. Planning law is the worst law ever. Yeah, but most of it's bullshit. Like the geezer said, I do agree with him. I agree with a lot of what he said. But when he started going into constitutional stuff, I don't agree. I'm not sure, but I think he might be a friend of Richard Phobes. I'm not sure. But you have to be very careful with that. But before I do this, I'm going to show you something else. Now, did everyone see this? Let's see if I can go and find myself. Copy link. I'm going to see if I can bring this up on the screen. And hopefully this won't go pear-shaped. It could knock out my computer because it is struggling with the amount of energy in the... Let's see if this comes up. I'm going to show you this, right? Because I think it's important that you see it. Hopefully, I will put it so you don't get an echo. I will put it on air, right? Hopefully, you'll see this. There you go. Touch with it's on the screen. So non-stun halal slaughter isn't farming, it's torture. Freedom of belief does not mean freedom to inflict a cruel and brutal death upon millions of animals. Let me see what this is. Upon millions of animals. It is un-British. I think you'll find it's the English that are known to protect animals. We should ban halal slaughter and should ban kosher slaughter, which I'm pleased he said that. My contribution in Parliament today, and I'll go through this, so hopefully everyone, tell me if you can hear it, because I've got my hearing aids out and I can't hear nothing.
The greatest joys of being a farmer is raising livestock. You see them born, you feed them, you watch them grow, you care for them. And when their time comes, you want that end to be swift, calm, dignified and painless. Right now, today, all across the country in abattoirs, we're allowing vile practices that would turn the stomach of any decent person, all in the name of religious exemption. No bolt to the brain, no stunning, no anaesthetic, a blade, a deep crushing cut across the throat. The animal does not die instantly. It thrashes, it gasps, it panics. It feels everything. That's a minute of pure agony while the blood pours from its body. No sedation, no stunning, just raw terror and suffocation. As a farmer, I would rightly be prosecuted for treating our animals like that. But in the abattoir, it's legal under religious exemption. It's two-tier slaughter. Instead of an instant painless death, these poor beings are being put through the most unimaginable pain, all in the name of religion. This isn't farming, it's torture. And the British people have no idea that this is happening. Because supermarkets don't label it, restaurants don't mention it, and schools don't highlight it. And politicians in these buildings are too terrified to mention it, out of fear of upsetting the religious minorities. I'm afraid I don't care. It's about animal welfare. Millions of Brits are eating halal meat against their will and without their knowledge, due to our deceitful labelling system. The two-tier regulatory arbitrage between our abattoirs and halal slaughterhouses means that there are economic factors fostering more widespread adoption of the cheaper option. That means halal meat is seeping into the food chain, and the consumer is unwittingly eating it. I will give way.
Mentions halal meat. Is the same position for kosher meat? Does he adopt the same position?
I do. I cover that at the end of my speech. Thank you for your intervention. We're all eating halal meat without knowing it. You are all eating halal meat without knowing it. I find that morally repugnant. We should ban non-stun slaughter, we should ban halal slaughter, and we should ban kosher slaughter. I will give way.
Thank the honourable member for giving way. Would he just clarify, just for my understanding, when he says, what does he propose in terms of those 88% of halal meat is actually pre-stunned? So given that, is he just after pre-stunned meat? Is that the crux of his argument?
I thank the honourable member for her intervention. The issue of stunning is a complex issue, as you probably know. The halal stun is a lower voltage than the non-halal stun. And as a member over here quite rightly said, chickens are put into an electric bath before they're killed. It is the actual level of the stun that counts. So, freedom of belief does not mean freedom to cause cruel and brutal pain. When I care for animals, I have the most stringent set of rules to abide by. I'm regulated on how to house them, how I feed them, and how I transport them. There are inspections, paperwork, codes of practice, all to make sure they're treated with dignity. I'm going to finish. But a halal abattoir can brutally butcher an animal alive, and all is fine. Where is the fairness in that? Where is the humanity in that? This is not a fringe issue. In 2024, an estimated 214.6 million animals were slaughtered for halal meat. 27 million entirely non-stun, the remainder with some form of weak and ineffectual attempt to ease the animal's pain, often causing just an epileptic fit. It is state-endorsed butchery. We talk so much about being a nation of animal lovers in this place. Well, it's time to prove it. Ban non-stun slaughter, along with any fig leaf of reduced stun slaughter, which simply accentuates the suffering.
So I've just played you that. The reason I've played it to you is one. There's a lot that he says that I agree with, but we're going to wait and see what he does. He says he's cooking up a plan and a political party. You know my opinion on reform. I think they're being promoted, even negatively. They're being promoted. That's what they do, right? That they will promote something as negative, but really they're promoting you. It's when they shut you down completely and don't want to talk to you at all. Because again, what we do is we're about the people, nothing else. Don't forget, it is crucially important that you remember that the English Constitution Party does not have whips. It is unconstitutional to have a whip. You represent your constituents and their opinions. You air their grievances in Parliament and to the Crown. Some people are saying there's some stuff going on. They do not receive my leaflet with all mail. Well, then you need to talk. You need to say that, because what we're proving is there is systemic fraud from so the people delivering, if they're controlled by the unions, they're not delivering people's leaflets. You've paid for them, right? And you'll probably know they cost a lot of money. Lower needs to have. Let me have a look. I don't know what that one is, Gary. We have reform laws in Guernsey. Guernsey. Do you live in Guernsey? Step pastel low. Right, that's it. It's only a quick video tonight. I've still got loads to do. I am feeling knackered, probably because of the fast. I haven't had any coffee today because I want to try and sleep, and coffee has been keeping me awake. But thank you for those who've said it looks like you've lost weight, and let's see how it progresses. But again, I should be all right, I think. If you wish to send Daddy Dragon a personal donation for all his hard work, send it to Barclays Bank, GH Moore, account number, blah, blah, blah. And we're still raising the money to pay the deposit, etc. Now, these people are just trying to shaft us by getting it all thrown out. And what we've got to do is literally get stuck into them. So hopefully it's all working. That's it. So I will say good night, God bless. In the Rumble chat, give us the English flag. Hopefully I'll be seeing it. I can see an English flag up there. Sometimes they don't show and sometimes they do show. Juicy and Lucy's put it out there. A coffee. A girl you've been seeing, Graham. A coffee, a girl. I don't know what that means. So I will see you shortly. But yes, I am moving to Devon. Right. And all we're going to do is move the operation from there, from what I'm doing here to there. It's just more pleasant. And at least I'll be able to speak to people, say hello to people, and pop out and say hello and do all the things that you should be doing. So I'm going to say good night, God bless. I am going to finish this video to say the Constitution is the solution. Don't listen to the people that are telling you not to vote. They're complicit and aiding and abetting the enemy to take this country over. That's exactly what the Marxists want. And you should be highly suspicious of any of them people. Because they obviously don't know the Constitution, obviously don't know about rights and your right to vote. Why would you allow anyone to take your rights? That's it. Don't forget, again, Runcorn and Hillsby. Anyone out there, if you didn't get a leaflet, email us. It's really important because we need it for the case. If the trial date is set on Friday, which is going to be fantastic if it is, they then have to advertise it and more people, and you'll notice that the press are completely silent on this. Right? They don't want anyone to know what's been going on because they're part of the problem. Right? The mainstream media and large elements of alternative media are doing the bidding of the Marxists by not putting this information out there. That's it. Good night. God bless. And I will see you all soon. Don't forget, if you voted for us in Runcorn and Hillsby, please email us, because we can use that as well. It's really important that people get involved with this. You won't be coming to court. I doubt it. And certain people don't have to come to court. I'll be putting up arguments why they shouldn't be if they don't want to come to court. But for you to step forward really does help us. That's it. Good night. God bless, and I will see you all soon. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. full English show. Get over there, and we've kicked over to 8,000 subscribers.